Hello guys, in this video lecture we are going to study about contraception. So contraception, introduction. Contraception means prevention of pregnancy. The main aims of this contraception is family planning, prevents sexually transmitted diseases, different diseases, and in medical grounds to control the stress of pregnancy, labor and lactation. An ideal characteristic should be highly effective, should not have any side effects, and they should be independent of intercourse, rapidly reversible, and should be cheap. And it should have widespread availability, acceptable to all cultures and religions, administration and healthcare, and personal not required, and easily distributed. Contraceptive methods in females. They are spacing methods, terminal methods, and pregnancy vaccines. So spacing methods, which includes rhythm methods, barrier methods, chemical methods, and intrauterine contraceptive devices. So spacing methods means which create some space. Here, a rhythm method. Rhythm method means are also called as safe period method or natural method. It depends on the time of ovulation, which is very dangerous. Means we can't predict a particular ovulation day of a particular female. It depends upon the menstrual cycle. So ovulation which it occurs usually at 14th day, and ovum is viable for only 48 to 78 hours, and sperm lives for around 24 to 48 hours. So pregnancy occurs if coitus period occurs in this period. It occurs before and after this period even. So this is maintained by means of calculating the calendar. And rhythm methods, the safe period, which is the rest of the cycle, that is 5 to 6 days after the menstruation, and 5 to 6 days before the next cycle. The advantage is most natural, and disadvantage is most most unreliable when the cycles are irregular. Next one is barrier methods. Barrier methods means by means of physical barriers, mechanical barriers. They are diaphragm. Diaphragm is a cone-shaped structure which is which is placed it on the fornix, the head of the cervix. Which are cup-shaped structure which is present in vagina over the cervical caps, smaller than the diaphragm, applied on the cervix itself. So and female condoms are also used. And advantage is inexpensive and do not require any medical consultation, and a female person by herself she can insert those diaphragms, etc. Disadvantages, there should be demonstration and the proper need of use. Failure is due to displacement of devices and may leads to some sort of inflammation. And chemical spermicidal agents like ricinoleic acid, nanoxynol, and octazynol. There are different types of foams, paste, jellies, vaginal sponges, etc. The advantage is very inexpensive, well tolerated, and provide good protection. Disadvantage is messiness, local irritation, burning sensation. Chemical methods, which also includes spermicidal foams and jellies, anti-spermicidal foams and jellies. The drugs and some drugs like steroidal oral anticontraceptives, depot preparation, and some steroidal oral contraceptives which are recommended for women of a younger group, up to 35 years of age. And mechanism of action is synthetic preparation of estrogens and progesterones. So when they're taken orally, they increases the hormone levels, which leads to the negative feedback and stops the release of gonadotropins and inhibits ovulation. Combined pill or sequential pills, mini pills, or morning after pills, or oral contraceptive pills, postcoital pills. They are all different types. Combined pills is of combination of estrogen and progesterone, and combined pills which are used daily at 21 days. In a 25th day, from the 25th day of cycle, we may stop. Dummy tablets will be taken up, and during this bleeding, menstrual bleeding, but there is withdrawal bleeding, which is not menstrual bleeding, which is of withdrawal bleeding. Mechanism: it prevents the ovulation, prevents the implantation, makes cervical secretions thick, and prevents the entry of sperm into the female genitals. Sequential pills are the mini pills. Sequential pills are the moderate dose of progesterone, which have high toxicity to produce endometrial carcinoma. And mini pills or micro pills are the which will have only progesterone, which will thicken the mucus. Postcoital pills are which after the sexual intercourse, these drugs, these tablets will be taken up. Immediately after 12 hours, two pills. It is a combined combined pills, two combined pills, which are taken after the 12 hours of postcoital, means after the intercourse. It should be taken within the 72 hours. Mechanism of action: it prevents the fertilization and implantation by hypermotility of fallopian tubes and uterus. So advantage is 100% efficacy. Disadvantage is it induces hypertension, thromboembolism, metabolic effects like diabetes and obesity, carcinogenic effects on breast and cervix. Contraindications: women having carcinoma or breast or uterus, it should not be used. Liver diseases should not be used. Hyperlipidemias or age group above 35 years should not be used. Depot preparations means oily solutions given intramuscularly, which is consists of progesterone, medroxyprogesterone, and norethindrone. These are the hormones which are given in oily substances in intramuscular regions, combined by means of both progesterone and estrogen, and they stops the ovulation and secretions. Subdermal implants, they are Norplant and Norplant 2. 6 flexible silicone based tubes which consists of 35 mg of progesterone, whereas 2 rods of levonorgestrel, which it gives contraception to 5 to 6 years. Vaginal rings are placed in the vagina, which consists of norgestrel. So through vaginal mucosa, progesterone is absorbed, which may lead to sterility and alteration in menstrual bleeding patterns. And non-steroidal contraceptives like centacroman, which is developed by CDRI, which will be given in a dose of 30 mg twice a week for 12 weeks, followed by once in a week. Suppress corpus luteal function, means which stops the production of progesterone, interfere with motility of fallopian tube. So menstrual cycle remains normal, but completely reversibility in after the withdrawal. IUDs, intrauterine devices. So these are all ideal candidates which prevents the implantation and growth of the ovum. And sperm phagocytization occurs by means of neutrophils and macrophages. Copper affects the enzymes and mobility of the sperm cells and makes cervical mucus thick and prevent the entry of sperm cells. There are types like medicated and non-medicated. Non-medicated are lipase loop or T-loop, which is made up of plastics, and medicated loop, which consists of copper T-loops. We call them as copper T-loops. And third generation, which consists of progesterone reservoir, which can release continuously for 1 year. So here are the copper T-loops and the normal T-loops. This is the method of insertion. And IUCDs, which are safe, effective, reversible, and easily pulled out when not required, Long-term contraception method is without any adverse effects. Disadvantages may cause heavy bleeding, may come out accidentally, may cause risk of ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancy means pregnancy that occurs in fallopian tubules. Contraindications: suspected pregnancy, pelvic inflammation, heavy bleeding during menstruation, suffering from carcinoma cervix. Terminal methods are permanent methods. So they are nothing but tubectomy. When families complete our medical grounds, we can do it. Tubectomy and laparoscopic occlusion. So tubectomy means fallopian tubes are dissected and cut and ligated. Laparoscopic methods means by means of some plugs or rubber bands, the fallopian tubes are closed. And MTP, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, under 1971. So here, by means of using some sort of prostaglandins, we can stop the pregnancy after the pregnancy. I mean, when the pregnancy occurs, which way these drugs used may lead to the abortion. So indication when medical's continuation of pregnancy is hazardous to the mother, when it is dangerous to mother and eugenic, and if there is any child born is having any substantial risk, and humanitarian grounds like when the pregnancy is a result of rape, etc., and failure of contraceptive methods. And methods like dilatation or curettage, and the cervix is dilated, and with a dilator implanted ovum is removed by curettage of endometrium, by cutting of endometrium. Vacuum aspiration by means of vacuum tube or aspirated vacuum and suction. Administration of prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are used to remove the fetus by means of forced menstrual bleeding. So here we can see different types of abortion methods. First one is dilatation and evacuation abortion, this one. And pregnancy vaccines, they're all under experimental trials. So they may stop the production of proteins of Genopellucida, and which prevents in the fertilization. And there may immunization, which produces antibodies against human chorionic gonadotropin. So coming to the contraceptive methods in males. Methods: spacing methods, terminal methods, and miscellaneous methods. Spacing methods are natural methods. Oldest coital method, by removing the penis before the ejaculation, but failure rate is very high. Even a single drop is enough for the causing of fertilization. Barrier method, which consists of condom, male condoms widely used, made up of latex, should be worn during on erect penis before the intercourse. Air must be expelled, which should be held carefully while withdrawing from vagina. So which is highly without any side effects, and highly recommended highly recommended method. So it stops the entry of semen into this vagina. Highly available, very less expensive, and can prevent sexual transmitted diseases. Mostly disadvantages include slip off or tear off, or interfere with the sexual sensations. Chemical method: antispermatogenic drugs inhibit spermatogenesis. So like male pill, gossipol, which is an oil, hormonal preparations, and calcium channel blockers. Gossipol, which consists of cottonseed oil, because its mechanism is not known, but causes agiospermia, means clotting of sperm cells. And advantages is neither hormone or anti-hormonal activity, and no change in libido and potency. But disadvantage is permanent agiospermia after 6 months. Means after 6 months we can get only agiospermia, which may lead to infertility. Hormonal preparations: testosterone, which is 400 mg, usually causes agiospermia. Testosterone with danazol and cyproterone acetate. They are related to progesterone and produces potent anti-androgenic agent, causes oligospermia, means increased sperm production, and loss of libido, may result in loss of libido. Calcium channel blockers on cell membrane of the sperm, which stops the calcium influx, resulting in the uh, movement or entry into the zona pellucida. So, patient taking nifedipine for for hypertension will become sterile. So terminal methods like vasectomy or vasal occlusion with no scalpel technique, that means laparoscopic technique. So they are vasectomy by means of cutting the vas deferens and ligating the vas deferens. Vasectomy post-operative instructions are they should not get they should use condom up to 30 days or 30 ejaculations, because 30 ejaculations will have sperms. Advantage is simple, fast, less expensive, and no hospitalization. Failure rate is very less. No scalpel vasocclusion means by means of elastomer, which is injected jet hardened in situ, which is within 20 minutes. So elastomer plugs, which is medical grade polyurethane type of gel, which is called as SHUG and RISUG. SHU means silicon plug used, and RISUG means reversible inhibition of sperm under guidation. So miscellaneous methods means hot baths. So above 46 degrees for few weeks, and suspensors means which holds the testis to closer to the body, because in the first of reproductive system we discussed that reproductive system sperms are produced below the 2 to 3 degrees of body temperature. So when they are close to the body, they will not produce, they will not complete the spermatogenesis, the process of spermatogenesis. And insulated scrotal sacs. Thank you for listening.